Okay, so we should be good with linear functions and now quadratic functions. So I wanted to get into square root functions because they have the relationship with quadratic functions. So you should have noticed that when you found the inverse of a quadratic, so an x squared function, all the inverses end up becoming square root functions. Okay, so they're quadratic and square roots, they're just inverses of one another, which means that our square root functions, the inverses, are just going to become quadratic. So we're going to end up with a squared somewhere along the way. Okay, so first thing, obviously, that we're going to do is instead of f of x, I want you guys to have y. Okay, I'm just going to make it easier for myself. I'm going to cross out the f of x and put a y. Okay, you guys should be good with that by now. So now I've got y equals 4 times the square root of x plus 4 minus 24. This is the second example on y'all's paper. Okay, so now obviously I'm going to switch the x and the y. So instead of y, I'll have an x. Over here I'll have 4 square root instead of an x. Put a y plus 4 minus 24. Okay. So again, we're still solving for y. That's never going to change. We've got to solve for y. I'm going to start with the thing that's furthest away from it. Okay. The 4 is inside of that with it. This 4 is right outside of it. This minus 24, it's kind of the outsider. We're going to start with that minus 24. Obviously, to move it over, to get rid of it, we add it. Right? Because a minus and a plus are opposites. Okay, so it's being subtracted, so I'm going to add it to both sides. Okay, so I end up with x plus 24 on this side. So I just have my x plus my 24 equals 4. And then square root of y plus 4. So what we're going to do, this 4 is being multiplied by the square root of y plus 4. Right, so there's multiplication happening right here. So we're going to go ahead and divide. So this 4 is underneath the square root with the y, so we're going to leave it there for now. They're stuck under that together till everything else is gone, until we get rid of it. Okay, so we're going to divide. So this 4 is being multiplied by the square root, so we're going to divide each side by 4. Those 4's cancel. On this side, remember there's a 1 in front of that x. So I've got 1 over 4x, or 1/4 x. It's the same thing. And then I've got 24 divided by 4. 24 over 4 is just 6. Okay, and if you want to check that stuff on the calculator, then that's fine. Over here, I'm left with the square root of y plus 4. Okay, so just like we talked about up here, for x squared becomes a square root becomes a squared. In order to get rid of this square root, you have to square all of this, right? So I'm taking the square root of y plus 4. I want to get rid of this, so I'm going to square it, okay? But if I square all this to get rid of the square root, I have to square all this, which now means on this side, I'm going to end up with 1/4, okay, 1/4 x plus 6 squared, okay. The next thing that I want to do is move this 4 over. That's my final step. That's the last thing to go. So it's being added to the y. Remember, with the y by itself, it's being added to the y, so I'm going to subtract it. So in this case, on this side, I'm going to end up with 1/4 x squared. Not x squared, just x, sorry. Taking exactly this, 1/4 x plus 6. That's where my squared is. I had to square the whole thing. Okay. This minus 4 is equal to y. Okay. So my f of inverse of f of x is negative 1/4 x plus 6, all of this squared, okay, minus the 4. Okay.